Well, listen, April is the National Organ and Tissue Donation Awareness Month. And the work continues to raise that awareness. That's why the David Foster Foundation is dedicated to helping Canadian families with children in need of life-saving organ transplants. Great to have the Senior VP of the Fund Development, John Danson, back on the show with us for another year. Great to see you again, John.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
Okay, just a reminder for everybody at home, the connection that David Foster has to this foundation goes back to his mother's request about a young girl in Victoria that was looking for a liver.
Exactly, Tim. This is in the early 80s, where they weren't doing liver transplants in BC, and a young girl was in the UCLA hospital and needed a transplant and was having a difficult time, and she was from Victoria. And David's mother, Eleanor, called David, not as a musician, not as a special person in Hollywood, but as just David, to go in and see the family. And he went in to see the family, and he spoke to the family. And as he was leaving, he asked the little girl if he could do something for her. And she says, "I miss my sister." And at that moment, David said, "I'm going to make that happen." And it was only $150 to fly Alaska Airlines at that time, one way to LA. And David obviously got the ticket for the aunt and the sister, and they came, and David went with them to the hospital. And when he saw their eyes and the reaction between the two, he said, "I've got to do something." And that's in 1986, that's when the foundation started.
Amazing. I'm always shocked. We talked about this last year too. Why is Canada still one of the worst organ and tissue donation rates of all developing countries?
I'm not sure of that, but it's a great point, Tim. As you know, 30% of Canadians are registered. And because of that 30%, we have 4,500 Canadians on the donor wait list. And 1,600 every year join that wait list. And every week we have 5 people who die on the wait list. Every 30 hours, one person dies. If we can take that 30% and increase it by 1 or 2% and eventually even get to 40%, we virtually have no wait list and we have no issues. There's a solution. It's wonderful. It's good news.
I'm reading something here too. So one organ donor you would think would save one other person. That's not the case.
No, great question. One organ donor can save 8 lives and enhance 75 other lives.
Enhance 75 other lives. Okay, so let's get to it because we only got a minute left. How do we go about, we have 30% of our population that is registered. How do we get the other 70 involved in this?
We need everyone, all our colleagues, all our families, all our relatives. We have to share the news saying register. What's critical, Tim, to note is that it's 6 times more chances of you needing an organ than being a donor yourself. So it's in your self-interest, actually, to be an organ donor registered.
Wonderful. DavidFosterFoundation.com to see how you can help out and talk to your loved ones about organ donation and register, become an organ donor. John Danson from the David Foster Foundation. Great to see you again.
Thank you.